Ave Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Mark. Jesus and his disciples came to the other side of the sea, to the territory of the Gerasenes. When he got out of the boat, at once a man from the tombs who had an unclean spirit met him. The man had been dwelling among the tombs, and no one could restrain him any longer, even with a chain. In fact, he had frequently been bound with shackles and chains, but the chains had been pulled apart by him and the shackles smashed, and no one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and on the hillsides he was always crying out and bruising himself with stones. Catching sight of Jesus from a distance, he ran up and prostrated himself before him, crying out in a loud voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me." He had been saying to him, "Unclean spirit, come out of the man." He asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "Legion is my name. There are many of us." And he pleaded earnestly with him not to drive them away from that territory. Now, a large herd of swine was feeding there on the hillside, and they pleaded with him, "Send us into the swine, let us enter them." And he let them. And the unclean spirits came out and entered the swine. The herd of about 2,000 rushed down a steep bank into the sea where they were drowned. The swineherds ran away and reported the incident in the town and throughout the countryside, and people came out to see what had happened. As they approached Jesus, they caught sight of the man who had been possessed by Legion, sitting there clothed and in his right mind. And they were seized with fear. Those who witnessed the incident explained to them what had happened to the possessed man and to the swine. Then they began to beg him to leave their district. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed pleaded to remain with him. But Jesus would not permit him, but told him instead, "Go home to your family and announce to them all that the Lord, in his pity, had done for you." Then the man went off and began to proclaim in the Decapolis what Jesus had done for him, and all were amazed. The Gospel of the Lord. Americans have a great love for animals, a great love for their pets. And I am one of them. I especially love dogs. Dogs are the best. When I was newly ordained and I had to bring communion I had a list of about 20 people I would bring communion to, people that weren't able to come to church. And I went to this one house where this man had this huge German Shepherd. And the German Shepherd, when I was doing all the prayers, he sat there and he was participating as much as a dog could. And he got very upset when I gave the man communion and he didn't get any. And I was kind of perplexed. He was barking, howling, and I just looked at the man and he said, "He's upset that I got a treat and he didn't." So I said, "All right." So the next time I came, and each time after that, I would give him a doggy treat. He would be happy, and then I would be able to do the prayers and give the man communion. So animals are very special. But sometimes in our culture, we can take it maybe a little too far. Last week, PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, argued in a tweet on Tuesday that using animal names as an insult, like calling someone a chicken or a dog, does the following things. First, it promotes the myth that humans are superior to animals. So I guess according to PETA, we're all equal. Animals, hamsters, maybe even fish, I guess. Secondly, that it hurts their feelings. The animals get sad and depressed when they hear their names used as an insult. Now I'm trying to imagine that, dogs at a park, and they meet another dog and they're like, well, why are you so depressed? Why are you down? Well, my master, he called our neighbor a dog. I mean, I thought he was better than that. I can't imagine that happening. But first, we shouldn't call people animal names just because it's wrong to do. Secondly, we are called to properly take care of animals. In Genesis, we are commanded by God to take care of all creation, including animals. But we humans have a soul, and we are the ones made in the image and likeness of God. And we, like Jesus, need to be concerned with humans first and foremost, before anything. We experience this lesson in today's gospel with this poor young man who is tormented. He has been suffering. He has been hurting himself physically. It's one of the few stories in the gospel that we hear that this man is so tormented, he's hurting himself more than he's hurting other people. He's unable to work. He's in the caves and the tombs. He's not able to socialize, be with family, have a family. And when Jesus encounters him, Jesus knows what's going on in this guy's heart. Immediately he begins to pray, and there's a great reaction, a powerful reaction with the legions that we found out are named Legion. And they don't want to leave, and Jesus does something extraordinary. He sends them into the pigs, and they run off a cliff into the water. Now, today, people might be more concerned about the pigs, but the point is that a human being who had been tormented, dehumanized, is freed, and he's healed. And there should be great, great rejoicing. And even the people in the village 2,000 years ago in this gospel, they were upset about the swine and not so much caring about and rejoicing about what happened, the freedom of this young man. Jesus reminds us of his love for all creation, but that human beings have a special place in his heart. We are directly created in his image and likeness. We are the ones in Genesis, after we're created, all creation, he said, is good, but for us, he says, we're very good. Again, he loves his animals. He created and designed them and gave them life. But first place goes to human beings. As we know, Jesus would take on all evil, sin, and death, be consumed by them, though he never sinned himself, and conquer these on the cross. He did this so that all of us could experience freedom in our lives now, but most importantly, freedom for all eternity. May the Eucharist we receive today help us become aware of our dignity and worth, and may we help those who are hurting, those around us especially, to the best of our ability.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquae meruisti portare, alleluia. sit sicut dixit, Alleluia, ora pro nobis Deum, Alleluia.